Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Abishai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And this is a response to the brothers from the Mystery of the Kingdom, a very edifying video. As soon as I woke this morning, I gave up my praises and turned on my phone, and this was the first video that popped up in my feed. So I watched it, and it's called "The Words of the Lord Have Rose Up Against the High Mountains," in parentheses, America. So please don't put in the comment board, where's the video? I just gave you the name of it, all right? Because people do that, and it's kind of irritating when you give the information and then they ask for it. Jake is lazy, man. Once again, the video is called "The Words of the Lord Have Rose Up Against the High Mountains, America," which is in parentheses. Okay? And that's on the brother's channel, The Mysteries of the Kingdom. All right, so let's jump right into this thing, all right? And I'm going to label this video "The King of the Hill, the mountains melted away." All right, because that's exactly what's happening. The mountains are being melted away by the words of Yahweh Bashem Abishai. So I'm going to start with John, the book of John, or 1 John. Let me open up this Bible. 1:1, and it reads, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with power, and the Word was power." All right? Power. The Word is power, okay? "The same was in the beginning with power, and all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made." Okay, let's jump down to verse 14. "And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, and the glory of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace." And he actually became flesh and came down here and dwelt among us. And then he taught the disciples, the apostles, and then they went forth with his work, and it has gone from generation to generation until it went dormant, and now it's back. And that's what has them afraid. The prophets of the Lord are back. And just by speaking the words of this Bible, look at the condition of the earth now. Look at the condition of Esau now, the king of the hill, the king of the mountain. Okay? This is Isaiah. Got quite a few here in Isaiah 2 and 14. And it reads, "And upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills that are lifted up, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall." All right? The word is reaching upon all these places and bringing them down. Their economies, their health, they're actually using up their way of getting victory and control is actually by destroying their own people, their own citizens, their own laborers. They built up the most wicked kingdom in the history of mankind through forced labor and stealing of lands. And now they're destroying it. They've destroyed the water, the air, the food, the mindset of the people. The people are morally corrupt, and then the people are morally famished and without common sense. And they've destroyed the minds of the people because the majority of the people, not all, there's some people who see right through it, but the majority of the people believe everything that these Edomites say and support it. And honestly believe, even with their track history and their record, that these people have their best interests in mind. Okay? But enough people don't believe to where eventually Esau Edom, the king of the hill, the king of the mountains right now, is going to have to use his blessing, which is the sword. All right, that's what he's going to have to resort to, and we're getting dangerously close to that time. Dangerously close. This is Isaiah 18:3. It says, "All ye inhabitants of the world and the dwellers of the earth, see ye when he lifted up an ensign on the mountains, and when he bloweth the trumpet, hear ye." That ensign that's being lifted up is the Bible and the men of the Lord. All right, the truth came into the world through the One West camps, and then was refined to even to its strongest ability, to its strongest capability, to its most effectiveness through the men of the great millstone, who are the spearhead on that spear. If One West was a spear, the point on that head, the arrow, the blade on that spear, is the men of the great millstone. All right, starting with the apostles and elders on down. And the truth is being pushed into the world, thrust into the world, like a mighty thrust. Remember the way that the Spartans were thrusting in the movie The 300? That thrust from behind the shield? The word itself is a weapon. We don't need weapons. The word is. Because the word became flesh. We're actually thrusting Yahushua into them. And they have no defense against it. None. It's a perfect weapon, like some super weapon created in some Greek mythology, or Excalibur. We're wielding Yahushua. He is the word. All right? And it was only given unto the Israelites and to the prophets. We're going to get to that too. This is Isaiah 22:5. And it reads, "For it is a day of trouble and of treading down and of the perplexity by the Lord power of hosts in the valley of vision, breaking down walls and the cryings of mountains." All right, these mountains are going to cry. They're beginning to cry already. All right, and by us proclaiming our true nationality, our true race, they're labeling it an act of hate or terrorism or of war. You have to understand, their mountains and their hills were all built up based upon lies, with them proclaiming, with them being the biggest identity thieves. All right. Even though they supposedly that's a crime in this country and within the system of this mountain, but they're the biggest identity thieves because they indeed are the Hebrew Edomites of the Bible, not the chosen Hebrew Israelites. Yet they profess that they're the people of the Lord when they're not. They're the enemies of the people of the Lord who hijacked the world. All right, as it is written. This is Isaiah 34:3. And it reads, "Their slain also shall be cast out, their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood." They're all going to be destroyed. They're going to lose this battle. No matter what happens to me, no matter what happens to you that's listening, no matter what happens to us in between, is already written. They've already lost. This is their last hurrah. This is how we know that it's gonna that the swords are gonna start swinging. That the blood, the riots, the race riots, the food, the famine, the wars, all of it is dangerously close at hand. Why? Because they're close to accomplishing their filling their belly, getting this digital system up and off the ground and running. And the main vehicle that they're using to do that, by beating the people weak and making the people weak, is with the machination and this invisible enemy, which no one can see, which they can just put any number to it that they choose. They love using scenarios like that. Cyber attacks, this sort of attack. They love to use the sort of attacks and threats that can't be fact checked by the people. And then they use their controlled informational system, which is their media, which is a one-sided narrative. All you got to do is just watch it and listen. They're not telling you the news. They're suggesting to you what you should believe. It's the power of suggestion coming from one way, a one-way source. All right? That is what they do. And you ignorantly refer to it as news. The only true news, the only true word is coming from the men of the Lord. All right? And the fact that you don't have to put laws in place to protect the truth. You don't have to put laws in place to protect the truth. You don't have to make a person an offender of a word to protect the truth. Stands on its own. Always has. You don't have to make some sort of executive order to protect the truth. You only have to do that to protect lies. This is Amos 3:7. And it reads, Surely Yahweh power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. The men of the Lord are speaking the prophecies and these words, and then the power and the word became flesh. The Lord is working, and he's bringing it all to pass. All right? That's what he's doing. This is one of the precepts he brought out, and I had to bring it out as well. This is the Wisdom of Solomon. Because like he said in this video, which I highly suggest you go and watch it, it's very, very edifying, that the Lord actually had options the way he could have brought this man down. He could have lifted us up and he could have just gave the 144,000 that angelic lightning-like power, as you see on the screen, and we just went throughout the earth and took it. But he didn't want to do it that way. He's doing it his way, the way it's written. And it had to be done through his words. His words had to be spoken through the prophets. All right? And you know what? That was to sift the non-believers out. Okay? This is Wisdom of Solomon 3:9. It says, They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth. See? And such as be faithful in love abide with him, for the grace and mercy of his sins and the care of his elect. Okay? That was Salakia. That was Wisdom of Solomon 3:9 that I just read. Now I'm going to go to Wisdom of Solomon 12:9. Salakia. And it reads, Not that thou wast unable to bring the ungodly under the hand of the righteous in battle, or to destroy them at once with cruel beasts. All right? You know, you like the brother mentioned, Leviathan. You know? You could have used Leviathan to do it, man. It says, or one rough word. He chose the word. There's nothing more powerful than Yahushua. And the word became flesh. And we're wielding that heavenly weapon, which is the word of the Lord, man. He gave it unto us. The water Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. This is Jeremiah 4:24. And it reads, I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled, and all the hills moved lightly. And they're making major movements to get out the machination, to move troops around. All right? And then they're divided and against each other. They're setting up for war against the people and for war against each other, man. Because, you know, these countries all coming together for this digital thing. Esau's, his belly can never be full, man. You best believe there's a contingency plan to turn on his partners and get dominion over them as well. That's his nature, man. He's a snake that can't help to bite. He's a scorpion, but that can't help but sting. This is the book of Ezekiel. And he's proven to be the most untrustworthy people on the face of the earth, but yet you still got dumbasses that believe in these people. Ezekiel 6:3. And ye say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh, of the Lord power. Thus saith the Lord power to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and the valleys. Behold, I will bring a sword upon you, and I will destroy your high places. The Lord promised them that he gonna get up in that ass. All right, and he is. He's going to bring that sword to destroy all these hills and these mountains. And the number one king on the biggest hill is Esau, Edom. And all the smaller kings that support him, they're all going to be beat to powder, man. Thus saith the Lord. 2 more scriptures and we're done with this. This is Isaiah 13:2. Matter of fact, I started 1. And the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. We have reached the gates of the nobles. Our names are on the lips of people in high places. All right? And they don't want to acknowledge us directly. They try to group us in with other things, because acknowledging us directly gives us too much credence. And it also will make people go and actually come and listen to our words and not just listen to sound bites of some setup camps that show up to every staged event. The Esau pulling up on somebody at a staged event, yelling out obscenities. All right? Calling people cave monkeys and things like that, instead of just bringing out edifying information and history that destroys them. These 501c3 and these payoff pull-up camps that show up at all these false flag events. All right? This is a Wisdom of Solomon. Five and 2. Actually, I started verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such that have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for. See, they never thought that we would come back. They never thought, they didn't consider the latter end. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakak Badash, Wa Abba Baba, Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah.